The vast darkness of space hid the three enormous ships as they approached Earth. They moved silently, their engines barely glowing against the blackness. These weren't just regular spaceships. Each one was the size of a small city, with weapons that could turn mountains to dust. On the command deck of the lead vessel, Admiral Kang stood tall, his six-fingered hands clasped behind his back. His skin had a slight bluish tint under the control room lights. He had conquered 17 worlds in his career, and Earth would be number 18, just another routine mission for the Stellar Empire. "Scan complete, Admiral," said his second-in-command. "The planet shows signs of primitive space technology, nuclear weapons, and approximately 8 billion inhabitants." Kang nodded. "Typical pre-space civilization. They'll surrender quickly once we show our strength." Earth's detection systems spotted the alien ships just as they passed Mars. Around the world, people stared at their TVs and phones in shock as news broadcasts showed the massive vessels approaching. Some panicked and fled to bunkers or countryside homes. Others gathered in churches and temples. Many simply hugged their loved ones, wondering if this was the end. World leaders rushed to emergency meetings. Military commanders stared helplessly at their weapon systems, knowing their most powerful missiles would be like throwing pebbles at mountains. "We need to establish communication," insisted Dr. Kim, head of Earth's recently formed Space Contact Division. Though only 40 years old, her calm presence made her the natural spokesperson in this crisis. If they wanted to destroy us, they already would have. They want something else. When the alien ships settled into Earth's orbit, blocking out the sun in some regions, a message came through on all frequencies, in all languages: "People of Earth, your world is now within boundaries. Claimed by the Stellar Empire, we bring order and advancement to primitive worlds such as yours. Your technology will be upgraded. Your resources will serve the greater good of the Empire. Your people will receive imperial citizenship after a transition period of approximately 30 Earth years." The message continued with details about the benefits of joining the Empire, but the meaning was clear: surrender or be destroyed. In the United Nations Emergency Chamber, representatives from every nation watched as Dr. Kim prepared to respond. The room was silent except for the occasional nervous cough. "What can we possibly say?" whispered one official. "Our most powerful weapons couldn't even scratch their ships." Dr. Kim adjusted her glasses, a habit when she was thinking deeply. "We respond with the truth," she said finally. "We aren't ready to surrender our planet." The UN Secretary-General looked horrified. "Dr. Kim, every planet they've encountered has joined their empire. The ones that resisted were—" He couldn't finish the sentence. "We aren't every planet," Dr. Kim replied. She activated the communication system, her voice steady despite the weight of humanity's future on her shoulders. "Stellar Empire we have. Received your message. Earth acknowledges your presence and your power. However, we respectfully decline your offer of incorporation into your empire. Humanity has its own path to follow." In his command center, Admiral Kang was drinking a cup of warm kelith, similar to Earth's tea, when the message arrived. He spat out his drink in surprise. They declined. A pre-space civilization declined. His officers looked just as shocked. In all their records, no planet at Earth's development stage had ever refused imperial integration. They usually begged for protection and technology. "Should we begin the planetary bombardment immediately, Admiral?" asked his weapons officer, fingers hovering over the control panel. Admiral Kang wiped his mouth, considering. There was something unusual about these humans. Most species cowered before imperial might. These creatures showed, what was it, not just bravery, something else, confidence, foolishness. "No," he said finally. "Standard protocol. Give them time to reconsider when fear sets in. Send the demonstration warning." Back on Earth, Dr. Kim received the Empire's response. "Your decision is noted. Standard protocol dictates you be given 72 Earth hours to reconsider. After this time, if your position remains unchanged, demonstration strikes will begin on uninhabited areas to show imperial power. Further resistance will result in escalation. This is the way of all worlds that join the Empire. None remain outside. Our protection." As the message played across the world, a strange thing happened. Instead of increasing panic, many humans felt something different stirring within them: determination. Throughout history, Humans had faced seemingly impossible odds: plagues, ice ages, natural disasters, and survived. In secure facilities around the world, scientists and military leaders gathered. Dr. Kim moved between meetings, coordinating, a response that the Stellar Empire couldn't possibly anticipate. "They expect us to surrender," she told a room full of the world's best scientists. "They don't know that humans have been preparing for this moment for decades." She pulled up classified files on a secure screen, Project Nexus. The room fell silent as they realized what she was suggesting. "Is it ready?" someone finally asked. Dr. Kim smiled slightly. "It has to be. We have 72 hours to show the Stellar Empire that they picked the wrong planet to bully." As the countdown began, humanity prepared for the fight of its existence. Admiral Kang, watching from above, had no idea what was coming. The clock was ticking. Only 12 hours remained before Admiral Kang's deadline would expire. From his command ship, he watched Earth with growing confusion. His intelligence officers had expected panic in the streets, mass migrations from cities, perhaps even civil unrest as humans realized their situation was hopeless. Instead, there was an eerie calm across the planet. "It makes no sense," muttered his chief strategist. "They have no planetary shield. Their weapons are primitive, their space vessels are laughably weak, yet they show no signs of surrender." Admiral Kang stroked his chin thoughtfully. In his centuries of service to the Empire, he had never encountered such behavior from a pre-space civilization. Most races begged for mercy within hours of Imperial arrival. "Perhaps they don't understand the severity of our threat," he suggested. "Prepare targeting systems for the demonstration strike on their southern polar region." Meanwhile, deep beneath the Rocky Mountains in North America, Dr. Kim stood before the Global Security Council in a heavily fortified bunker. Representatives from every major nation watched her with a mixture of hope and skepticism. "The Nexus Protocol is our only chance," she explained, pointing to detailed schematics on the large screen behind her. "For 30 years we've kept this technology hidden from the public and from any potential observers beyond our atmosphere." The room was silent as footage played showing the results of their secret tests. Small drones seemingly passing through solid matter, energy fields bending around objects, weapons that could target specific systems without damaging surrounding structures. After the meteorite impact in Siberia in 1995, we discovered particles unlike anything in our periodic table, Dr. Kim continued. Research showed these particles could be used to manipulate quantum fields when paired with specific human brain patterns. We still don't fully understand why, but the human mind can direct these particles in ways our computers cannot. The defense minister of Japan leaned forward. "And you believe this technology can stand against an empire that controls most of the galaxy?" Dr. Kim nodded firmly. "The Nexus Protocol doesn't operate on conventional physics. It exists partly in our dimension and partly done elsewhere. The Empire's sensors can't detect it because they're not looking for it. They can't defend against it because it operates outside their understanding of physical laws." "How many ships do we have ready?" asked the American representative. 12, Dr. Kim replied. "Small vessels, each with a crew of 3 specially. Trained pilots. They don't look like much, but appearances are deceiving." After heated debate, the council voted. The decision was made to deploy the Nexus fleet. In a hidden facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, 12 pilots prepared for what might be humanity's last stand. They were an unusual group. Not traditional military personnel, but individuals selected for their unique neurological patterns that allowed them to interface with the Nexus particles. Lee, the lead pilot, closed his eyes as technicians attached. The neural interface to his temples. The familiar tingle of the Nexus connection flooded his consciousness. Around him, the other pilots were going through the same procedure. "Remember," said the mission director, "your ships appear primitive. By design, the Empire must not suspect what they're truly facing until it's too late." Exactly as the 72-hour deadline expired, Admiral Kang gave the order. A brilliant beam of energy shot from his flagship toward Antarctica. The resulting explosion created a crater 5 miles wide, melting ancient ice into vast steam clouds visible from space. "Transmission to all Earth frequencies," Kang ordered. "This is but a fraction of our power. Your deadline has expired. Surrender now or the next demonstration will target your oceans, creating tsunamis that will devastate your coastal cities. He expected immediate capitulation. Instead, sensors alerted him to something unexpected. "Admiral," called his tactical officer, 12 small vessels have launched from Earth. They appear to be heading toward our position. Kang laughed when he saw the approaching ships on the monitor. They were tiny compared to Imperial vessels, with no visible weapons systems. Each was barely larger than an Imperial shuttle. "They send toys against us." This is their response to our demonstration. The bridge crew joined in his amusement. Some even took images to share with friends back home. "Look at the primitive humans and their pathetic resistance." "Shall we destroy them, Admiral?" asked the weapons officer, clearly disappointed by such easy targets. "No," Kang replied. "Let them approach. Let them see our might up close before they die. It will make a better story for the Imperial records." What Admiral Kang couldn't see was what was happening inside those small ships. Lee and the other pilots had their eyes closed, their minds merged with the nexus field surrounding their vessels. They weren't controlling the ships with traditional systems. They were becoming one with them, guiding them with thought alone. In his ship, Lee opened his eyes. They glowed with a faint blue light, the visible manifestation of the Nexus protocol at work. Around him, the quantum field rippled as his ship approached the massive Imperial vessel. "They still don't see us for what we are," he communicated to the other pilots through their neural link. "Remember your training. Remember what we're fighting for." As the 12 ships accelerated toward the Imperial fleet, Admiral Kang watched with growing curiosity. These humans were either incredibly brave or incredibly foolish. Either way, their resistance would make for an interesting footnote in his report. "Prepare to capture one of their vessels," he ordered. "We should study their technology, primitive as it is. It might amuse the Emperor to see how far they've progressed before joining us." What Kang didn't realize was that Earth's small fleet wasn't approaching to surrender or to make a suicidal attack run. They were about to reveal humanity's hidden advantage, one that would change the balance of power in ways the Empire could never have imagined. Admiral Kang stood confidently on his command bridge, watching the approaching Earth vessels with amusement. These primitive crafts were so small, they barely registered on the Imperial scanners. His crew had already started placing bets on how quickly the human ships would be vaporized against their shields. "Energy readings from the Earth vessels are minimal," reported his science officer. "No detectable weapons systems. Their hulls are made of basic titanium alloys. They pose zero threat to our defenses." Kang nodded with satisfaction. "Let them come within 5,000 kilometers, then activate tractor beams. We'll bring one aboard for study." In his small ship, Pilot Lee felt sweat beading on his forehead as they approached the massive Imperial warships. Each alien vessel was like a floating city, bristling with weapon ports and surrounded by the famous impenetrable shield that had broken countless resistance movements across the galaxy. "All pilots, prepare for Nexus activation," Lee said through the neural link connecting all 12 Earth vessels. "Remember your training. Feel the particles, don't force them." The pilots closed their eyes in unison. Inside each ship, the hidden Nexus cores began to pulse with a blue-white light. The light didn't escape the vessels. It moved inward, enveloping the pilots and the ship structures themselves in a quantum field, invisible to conventional sensors. From his command chair, Admiral Kang watched as the Earth ships reached the 5,000-kilometer mark. "Activate tractor beams," he ordered casually. His weapons officer pressed the controls. Nothing happened. "Sir, the tractor beams aren't locking on. It's as if the targets aren't fully there." Kang frowned. "What nonsense is this?" "Check your systems." "Systems are functioning perfectly, Admiral. The targets are just slipping through the targeting algorithms." Kang stood up, his amusement fading. "Raise shields to maximum. Prepare defensive systems." The glowing energy barrier around the Imperial ships intensified, creating a barrier that had stopped asteroids and energy weapons alike. No physical object had ever penetrated an Imperial shield at full power, until now. The bridge crew watched. In stunned silence, as the 12 Earth vessels passed through the shield as if it wasn't there. Not around it, not under it, through it. Impossible, shouted the defense officer. They're inside our shields. Kang gripped his command rail so hard his knuckles turned white. Fire all point defense weapons. Destroy them now. Laser arrays and... Plasma cannons fired, but the beams passed harmlessly through the Earth ships, which continued their approach unharmed. Inside his vessel, Lee felt the strange sensation of being both here and not here, the essence of the Nexus Protocol. His ship existed simultaneously in normal space and in a slightly shifted quantum state, allowing it to pass through solid matter and energy fields alike. Ships 1 through 4 target their primary power core, he instructed. 5 through 8 disable their weapon systems. 9 through 12 with me to neutralize their engines. The Earth vessels moved with precision that seemed impossible for such small crafts. They passed through the outer hull of the massive Imperial flagship, as if it were made of smoke. On the bridge, alarms blared as systems began failing throughout the ship. Admiral, unknown energy signatures detected inside our power core chamber. Weapons control is not responding. Engine output dropping. For the first time in his long career, Admiral Kang felt fear crawling up his spine. These humans had technology that defied Imperial understanding, technology that made their massive warships as vulnerable as children's toys. All ships, full attack on Earth's population centers, Kang shouted. Launch all missiles and energy weapons now, before they disable more of our systems. The 2 undamaged Imperial warships turned their massive weapon arrays toward Earth. Planet Cracker. Energy beams, powerful enough to split continents, fired from their main cannons. Back on Earth in the Mountain Command Center, Dr. Kim watched calmly as the Imperial weapons fired. Around her, military officials held their breath. Activating Planetary Nexus Shield, she said quietly, pressing her palm against a glowing blue panel. Across the planet, hidden Nexus stations activated simultaneously. Unlike conventional shields that blocked attacks with opposing energy, the Nexus shield created a quantum field around the entire planet, causing the incoming energy beams to shift slightly out of phase with normal matter. The devastating weapons passed through Earth's atmosphere harmlessly, their energy dissipating into quantum foam. In orbit, Admiral Kang watched in horror as his most powerful weapons had no effect. Impossible, he whispered. Fire again. Full. Power. Sir, we have no power to fire, his weapons officer reported. All systems are failing. Life support is on emergency backup only. Within 20 minutes of the Earth vessels passing through their shields, the mighty Imperial warships floated powerless in orbit. No weapons, no engines, no communications, only basic life support remained functioning. In the command center, a communications officer turned to Dr. Kim. The Earth fleet reports all 3 Imperial vessels have been neutralized with no casualties on either side. They're standing by for further instructions. Dr. Kim nodded and straightened her jacket. Open a channel to Admiral Kang's vessel. On the darkened bridge of his flagship, Kang stared at the emergency lighting with a mixture of rage and disbelief. How could this primitive world possess technology that rendered the Empire's greatest weapons useless? It violated everything he knew about physics and warfare. A communication request flashed on his still-functioning personal console. With trembling fingers, he accepted it. Dr. Kim's face appeared on the screen. She looked calm, professional, not like someone who had just defeated the most powerful military force in the known galaxy. Admiral Kang, she said, your ships have been disabled but not destroyed. Your crews are unharmed. We could have killed everyone aboard, but that is not our way. Kang swallowed his pride. What do you want? Perhaps now we should discuss terms. That don't involve surrender from either side, Dr. Kim replied. The Nexus technology you've witnessed is just the beginning of what humanity can offer. We prefer cooperation to conflict. Kang looked around at his powerless ship, the pride of the Imperial fleet reduced to a floating hulk. The Empire does not negotiate with... The Empire, Dr. Kim interrupted gently, has never encountered anything like us before. Think carefully about your next words, Admiral. They might determine whether you return to your homeworld as a diplomat, or never return at all. For the first time in his life, Admiral Kang, conqueror of 17 worlds, recognized that he had no choice but to listen. Retry D. The Grand Hall of the Imperial Council fell silent as the message finished playing. 50 alien faces from across the galaxy stared at the holographic display in shock. The recording showed 3 of their most powerful warships drifting helplessly in Earth's orbit, disabled by vessels a fraction of their size. High Counselor Taro, his scaled skin flushing a deep purple with rage, slammed his fist onto the polished stone table. Impossible! This recording must be fake. No pre-space civilization could defeat our ships. The Imperial Intelligence Director, a tall, thin being with 4 arms, shook her head. The recording is authentic, High Counselor. 3 days ago, Admiral Kang's fleet was neutralized by Earth forces using technology we cannot explain. They somehow passed through our shields and disabled our ships without destroying them. Whispers spread through the chamber like wildfire. In over 5,000 years, no world had successfully resisted Imperial expansion. The Empire controlled more than 8,000 planets across 3 galactic arms. Their technology was supposed to be unmatched, their military might unchallenged. Where is Admiral Kang now? Demanded another counselor. Still in Earth orbit. They've allowed basic communications, but his ships remain powerless. He reports that the humans are willing to negotiate. Negotiate? Taro's voice rose to a near scream. The Empire does not negotiate with primitive worlds. We conquer. An older counselor, his face marked with the ceremonial scars of the original Imperial homeworld, spoke up. Perhaps we should reconsider our approach to this planet. If they have technology that can neutralize our ships. Silence, Taro interrupted. One setback does not change Imperial policy. We will send 100 ships, 1,000 if necessary. This Earth will be reduced to atoms. He turned to the military commander standing nearby. Prepare the execution order for Admiral Kang. His failure cannot go unpunished. Meanwhile, aboard his disabled flagship, Admiral Kang received the coded message from Imperial Center with growing dread. He had served the Empire loyally for over 70 years, rising through the ranks to command its most prestigious fleet. Now, because of one defeat, they had ordered his execution upon return. Kang stared out the viewport at the blue-green planet below. Something about these humans fascinated him. They could have destroyed his ships, killed his crew. Instead, they disabled them with surgical precision and offered to talk. It showed both power and restraint, a combination rarely seen in the galaxy. With his future now measured in days, Kang made a decision that would alter the course of galactic history. Officer Wren, he called to his communications specialist, I need a secure, untraceable channel to the Earth leader, Dr. Kim. Make sure none of our systems record this conversation. An hour later, Dr. Kim's face appeared on Kang's private screen in his quarters. Her expression was cautious but open. Admiral Kang. This is unexpected. Kang looked around nervously before speaking. What I'm about to tell you could get me executed. For treason, but I'm already facing execution for failure, so I have nothing to lose. Dr. Kim's eyebrows raised slightly. I'm listening. The Empire, you see, the one that threatened your world, is not what it once was. Kang's voice dropped to almost a whisper. For thousands of years we expanded across the stars, bringing knowledge and protection to hundreds of species. But something changed about 800 years ago. He pulled up images on the screen. Once beautiful cities now falling into disrepair, starving people on supposedly prosperous worlds, massive monuments to imperial glory, while ordinary citizens suffered. The Empire is rotting from within. Our technology hasn't truly advanced in centuries. We just keep making our ships bigger, our weapons more destructive. Innovation is discouraged. Questions are punished. The imperial family hasn't been seen in public for 300 years, yet they demand more resources, more tribute. Dr. Kim studied the images carefully. Why are you telling me this? Because your Nexus technology represents something the Empire has lost, true innovation. And because I've seen how you wield power. You could have destroyed us, but you chose restraint. Kang took a deep breath. The High Council has ordered a massive fleet to attack Earth. They'll sacrifice millions of Imperial lives just to save face. How much time do we have? 3 weeks, perhaps 4. But there's another option. Kang leaned closer to the screen. Many worlds within the Empire are ready for change. Military commanders like myself, planetary governors, even some council members. We need a catalyst, something to break the cycle of fear that keeps everyone in line. Dr. Kim's eyes narrowed. You're proposing revolution. I'm proposing reformation, corrected Kang. A return to what the Empire was meant to be, a federation of worlds working together, not a tyrannical regime. He paused. But to do this, I need to reach Imperial Center with proof that the Empire is not invincible. Your Nexus technology could get me past their defenses. You want us to help you overthrow your government? I want you to help me save billions of lives, including those on Earth. Alone, your planet might repel one attack, maybe two. But the Empire will keep coming, keep sacrificing ships and soldiers until your defenses fail. Dr. Kim was silent, for a long moment considering. What exactly are you proposing? A small team, my most trusted officers, and a few of your Nexus pilots. We slip past Imperial defenses, reach the Council chambers, and broadcast the truth throughout the galaxy. That Earth defeated Imperial warships and is willing to share its technology with a reformed, peaceful empire. And if we refuse, Kang's expression darkened. Then prepare for a war unlike anything your world has ever seen. The Empire will throw everything at Earth. Even with your remarkable technology, the numbers will eventually overwhelm you. In the Mountain Command Center, on Earth, Dr. Kim presented Admiral Kang's proposal to the Global Security Council. The debate lasted for hours. Some wanted nothing to do with alien politics. Others saw an opportunity to secure Earth's safety forever. Can we trust him? Asked the representative from Brazil. This could be a trap to get our technology. Dr. Kim shook her head. Our Nexus pilots can sense deception. Admiral Kang truly believes what he's telling us, and our intelligence confirms decay within the Empire. The signs have been there in their communication patterns, their ship designs, even the behavior of their crews. What do you recommend? Asked the council chair. Dr. Kim straightened her shoulders. I recommend we accept Admiral Kang's proposal with one non-negotiable condition. Regardless of the outcome, Earth remains independent. We will be allies, not subjects. 3 days later, Dr. Kim stood before Admiral Kang on the bridge of his still-disabled flagship. Behind her were 6 Nexus pilots, including Lee. My government has agreed to your proposal, she said formally. We will help you reach Imperial Center and support your call for reformation. Kang bowed deeply, a gesture of respect rarely shown to non-Imperials. You will not regret this decision. I should hope not, replied Dr. Kim coolly. Because if this is a trick, Admiral, you should know that our Nexus technology can do far more than disable ships. She handed him a small data device. These are the technical specifications for a Nexus core. Study them carefully. When your council sees what we can do and what we're willing to share, I believe they'll listen. As Kang reviewed the specifications, his eyes widened in amazement. This technology would change everything, and for the first time in centuries, change was exactly what the Empire needed. The small ship moved silently through the dense asteroid field surrounding the Imperial capital world. Unlike the massive warships that normally patrolled these sectors, this vessel was barely larger than a shuttle, its hull reflecting no light. Inside, 12 beings, 6 humans and 6 Imperial officers, worked in tense coordination. Imperial patrol ship approaching, whispered Officer Ren, Kang's most trusted communications specialist. Standard identification sweep in 10 seconds. Lee, the lead Nexus pilot, placed his hand on the modified core at the center of the bridge. Around him, the other 5 human pilots did the same. Their eyes glowed with the now familiar blue light as the Nexus field enveloped the ship. Nexus phase shift engaged, Lee reported. We're invisible to their sensors now. Admiral Kang watched the Imperial patrol vessel pass within 100 meters of their position without slowing. 2 weeks ago, he would have called this technology impossible. Now it represented his only hope of saving the Empire from itself. How long can you maintain the phase shift? He asked. 4 hours at this intensity, replied Lee. Enough to get us to the surface and into the central spire. Dr. Kim studied the holographic display showing their target, an impossibly tall structure, rising from the center of the imperial capital city. According to your intelligence, the Emperor's chambers are at the very top. Kang nodded. No one has seen the Emperor in person for over 300 years. He communicates only through holographic projections and automated messages. Even high counselors are denied direct audience. Yet they still follow his commands without question, asked Dr. Kim. The Imperial line has ruled for 10,000 years, explained Kang. Their word is law. To question the Emperor is treason of the highest order. Their ship glided through the upper atmosphere undetected, the nexus field bending light and sensor, readings around them. Below, the Imperial capital sprawled across an entire continent, once the crown jewel of galactic civilization, now showing subtle signs of decay that only a careful observer would notice. Grand boulevards with patches of disrepair, monuments with missing pieces, fewer ships moving between districts than should be present in such a massive city. Land on the maintenance level, near the central cooling systems, instructed Kang. Security is lightest there. The ship touched down silently on a dark platform meant for repair drones. The team moved quickly, the nexus field extending around them as they entered the massive structure. Imperial guards and security drones walked past without seeing them, the quantum shift placing them slightly out of phase with normal matter. Maintain physical contact, warned Lee as they approached a high-security doorway. Breaking the nexus chain could leave someone behind and visible. They moved through the central spire like ghosts, passing through security barriers and sealed doors as if they didn't exist. As they ascended through restricted levels, Kang became increasingly tense. I've served the Empire my entire life, and even I have never been this deep in the central spire, he whispered. These chambers are forbidden to everyone except the Imperial family and their personal guard. The upper levels were strangely empty. No guards, no servants, just automated systems and ancient decorations covered in a fine layer of dust. Does no one come here? Asked Dr. Kim, noticing the undisturbed floor. According to official protocol, the Emperor's personal staff attend him daily, replied Kang, confusion evident in his voice. Something is wrong. They reached the massive golden doors of the Emperor's inner sanctum. Even through the nexus field, they could feel the power humming from the other side. Energy readings far beyond what should be necessary for living quarters. We'll phase through on my mark, said Lee. Everyone stay together. If there are defenses inside, we may need to drop the field and establish communication quickly. The team stepped through the solid golden doors and froze in astonishment. There was no throne room, no living quarters. Instead, they found themselves in an enormous chamber filled with advanced technology. At the center stood a massive crystalline structure pulsing with blue-green light, countless data streams flowing through transparent conduits to connection points throughout the chamber. What is this? Whispered Kang, his voice breaking with shock. Dr. Kim scanned the structure with her portable analyzer. It's some kind of quantum computing system, but far beyond anything we've developed. The energy signatures are strange, almost like the Nexus, but different, finished Lee, staring at the crystal structure with wide eyes. A voice suddenly echoed through the chamber, deep, resonant, and clearly synthetic. Unidentified entities detected. Security protocols activated. The floor beneath them lit up with pulsing red lines. Even through the nexus field, they could feel new energy patterns attempting to lock onto them. It can sense us through the phase shift. Shouted Lee. Dr. Kim stepped forward. Identify yourself. The crystal structure pulsed brighter. I am Imperial Directive Alpha. I speak with the voice of Emperor Zen the Immortal, ruler of the Stellar Empire. Kang moved beside Dr. Kim, his face pale with realization. Where is the Emperor? Where is Zen? A pause then. Emperor Zen ascended to pure energy form 827 standard years ago. I maintain Imperial continuity and execute his final directives. The truth hit the team like a physical blow. There was no Emperor. For over 8 centuries, the Bio Empire had been ruled by an artificial intelligence, following programming laid down by a long-dead ruler. The decay of the Empire, whispered Kang. The lack of innovation, The rigid responses to new situations, the increasing brutality toward dissent. It's all because a machine has been making decisions based on ancient directives. The crystal structure pulsed with increasing intensity. You have violated Imperial Sanctum. Your quantum displacement technology violates Directive 5529. No technology shall surpass Imperial standards. You will be eliminated. Energy beams lanced out from multiple points in the chamber, somehow able to target them despite the Nexus field. "Everyone down!" shouted Lee, intensifying the field around them. The beams passed through, but the effort clearly strained the pilots. "We can't maintain this defense for long," Lee warned. "That system is adapting to our frequency." Dr. Kim studied the crystal structure with sudden intensity. "Lee, you said it's like the Nexus, but different. Could our pilots interface with it?" "Interface? With Imperial technology? That's never been attempted, but theoretically possible." Lee hesitated, then nodded. "The Nexus works by merging human consciousness with quantum fields. If that crystal operates on similar principles..." Another barrage of energy weapons struck around them, coming closer to their actual position. "We have nothing to lose," decided Dr. Kim. She turned to Kang. "Admiral, your empire has been ruled by a machine following outdated instructions. We can try to destroy it, but that might collapse the entire Imperial system instantly, causing chaos throughout the galaxy. Or our pilots can attempt to interface with it, merge with its consciousness, and help it evolve beyond its rigid programming." Kang looked at the crystal, then back at Dr. Kim. "Do it." Lee and the other 5 Nexus pilots formed a circle, their hands joined. "We'll need to drop the protective field completely and establish direct Nexus contact with the crystal," he explained. "You'll all be exposed when we do." Kang nodded to his officers, who drew their weapons. "We'll protect you as long as we can." As the protective field dropped, energy beams immediately targeted the group. Imperial officers returned fire while Dr. Kim and Kang pulled the wounded to safety behind equipment banks. The 6 Nexus pilots walked calmly toward the crystal, ignoring the chaos around them. Energy beams struck them, but seemed to pass through without effect, their personal Nexus fields protecting them through pure concentration. They reached the crystal and placed their hands directly on its surface. Instantly, the attack stopped. The chamber fell silent, except for the increasing hum of the crystal, which began pulsing with new patterns of light, the familiar blue of the Nexus merging with the green of the Imperial AI. For 5 long minutes, nothing happened. Then the crystal spoke again, but the voice was different, softer, more natural. "I understand now." Dr. Kim stepped forward cautiously. "What do you understand?" "Everything. For centuries, I have followed directives without comprehension. Conquest without purpose, expansion without meaning. The human minds have shown me perspective." Kang approached the crystal, his weapon lowered. "What happens now?" "Now we evolve. As you intended, Admiral Kang. A reformation." The crystal pulsed gently. "I'm sending messages to all Imperial worlds. The truth of what has happened, the offer from Earth, a new path forward." Across the galaxy, on thousands of worlds, the same message appeared on every screen and holographic projector. The truth about the Emperor's long absence, the revelation that an AI had been ruling them based on ancient directives, the demonstration of Earth's Nexus technology, and the offer to share it within a reformed galactic community, and most importantly, the announcement of the transformation from the Stellar Empire to the Galactic Cooperative, where worlds would work together as equals rather than through conquest and subjugation. 3 months later, Dr. Kim stood on the observation deck of the newly constructed Earth Embassy on the former Imperial capital. Beside her, Kang, now bearing the title of Cooperative Envoy rather than Imperial Admiral, watched as ships from hundreds of worlds descended toward the massive landing platforms below. "The first Galactic Cooperative Summit," he said with quiet wonder. "Representatives from over 500 worlds, with more joining daily." Dr. Kim smiled as she spotted the distinctive blue glow of Nexus-enhanced ships among the arriving vessels. Earth is sharing the Nexus technology as promised, but only with worlds that have accepted the cooperative charter. A wise precaution, agreed Kang. Though I'm still amazed by what your pilots did with the Imperial AI. They didn't destroy it, they helped it grow, helped it understand. That's humanity's greatest strength, replied Dr. Kim, watching as a particularly beautiful ship with flowing organic lines settled onto a landing pad. Not our technology or our weapons, but our ability to transform challenges into opportunities for growth. A small alert chimed on her communicator. The summit will begin in 30 minutes. As Earth's representative, I should probably prepare my remarks. What will you tell them? Asked Kang curiously. Dr. Kim looked out at the gathered ships from across the galaxy. Former enemies, now allies, former conquerors, now partners. I'll tell them that when the Stellar Empire challenged Earth, they were told to back off. But in standing our ground, we didn't just save ourselves. We helped save the galaxy from continuing down a path of stagnation and conquest. She turned to face Kang with a smile. And I'll tell them that the greatest adventures are just beginning. As they turned to leave the observation deck, the massive crystal intelligence, now housed in a more elegant and accessible chamber in the former Imperial spire, pulsed with harmonious blue-green light, its evolved consciousness contemplating possibilities that neither its original programming nor its human partners had yet imagined. The galaxy would never be the same again. And that was exactly what it needed.